Hello guys, welcome to the new video. Today we are going to be doing a review of the week we had. So as you can see instantly right here is how I ended the week. It is bad, but we are still okay. We are close to coming back to profit. So and I believe we can do it because I learned some key things this week and I'll tell you everything about it. So let's get first into the trades that I took and how I executed them, and then I'll show you what I needed to do to end green and everything that I learned this week. So let's start with the first one. So the Monday, um, so the first trades were very good. I don't have to change anything about it. We swept out Asia high, then we gave an inverse and a break structure, so that's the entry easily. Then this one, the only thing maybe I can change is where the stop loss is, but yeah, that's the only thing I would change. Then the second one, I put my stop right here by accident. It was supposed to be at the low, and this ended up stopping me and then reversing to the upside. And I actually took this one on my FTMO as well, but my stop was in a good place, like right below the low, and then it ended up hitting take profit for the FTMO account. So yeah, that's on the funded. So basically, I ended this day minus 1.5, minus 1.2%. It's also I raised a little bit more than I wanted to, so I should be minus 1%. And then let's do Tuesday, where I also the first trade. So this was a where I missed the setup because the price action was very volatile, and I decided not to execute this, even though it was an A plus setup, because as you can see, we went up and down, up and down. This was a move down, and then last 10 seconds it just shoots up. So yeah, here this was a setup that was supposed to be executed like this, and the reason I didn't do it is because of the price action. However, the main thing that I learned on this day particularly is that in these cases, if I don't think this is a good enough of a setup, or because of the price section for me to execute a trade on my funded, I can definitely execute on my eval, and I should execute every single trade on my eval. So yeah, definitely my eval is like a place where I execute every single setup that appears that is my setup, you know. The second trade was very good. Also, we reached into the London Wicks. We gave a break structure, so it's your entry, and then as you can see, I can stop that. Nothing to change there. Then so this is Wednesday. On Thursday I didn't trade because we had a bank holiday and price action was really slow. So here I learned some key things. So let me first show you the trade, guys. So because of risking a bit too much on the first trade, that lost and risking the right amount on the second trade, I ended up getting out on break even, except and not in profit, which I was supposed to be. So here, okay, so the first trade was solid, swept out Asia high. Here we didn't get anything. Then we gave a failure swing, then a big structure, so that's your entry. And my stop was above the where a fair value gap could be formed. I would also change that and put it at the high of the body right here. And then other than that, we will get stopped out anyway. But the second trade, I risked 0.7%. So the reason why this happened is because I wanted to set my stop loss above that fair value gap where it could have been formed, which it did. But because of that, there was a 0.7% risk right there. If I want to risk 0.5, I have to lower it right here, which I did not want to do. So that's how it ended up stopping me out at 0.7%. And then my mistake, or what I learned, is that on the second trade, I cannot still risk 0.5 because now I risk 0.7. So the second trade, I also have to risk 0.7%, which is like common sense, but I didn't have it at the time. So basically, the second trade was sweep of London, inverse and break structure at the same candle. That's your entry, stop above the body of the candle and above the inverse. And low hanging fruit was in this case here. You put your stop loss to break even and then 1 to 1.5. So yeah, with this trade I should have ended up in profit, but as you can see I did not. So yeah, on this day I also learned a key thing where Apex actually has a rule that is like 30% consistency rule, but it is not looked on the total profit of the day. It is rather looked on total profit of one single trade, which is what I didn't know. I was aiming at I was aiming to make 780 bucks in one day, because in order to be inside the consistency rule, to be able to pay out as soon as I eligible for it. But I realized that that's not even the case. Like, I only have to make less than 780 bucks in one singular trade, which means that I can take two trades like this, both hit take profit, and I make like 1,000 and something bucks, and that's fine. I'm still within this consistency rule because both trades were less than 780 bucks. So I mean, singular trade was less than 780 bucks. So knowing that, now I can actually focus on that and improve that in terms of, now I can aim, if my low hanging fruit is at 1.8 R, I don't have to exit at 1.15. I can actually target the 1.8 R. Sorry, 1.8. Yeah, 1.8. So 1 to 1.8. Yeah. And then we have the last day of trading, which was Friday, where we had two great trades, but I missed the second one because it was too late. So basically, the first trade, we swept Asia, gave an inverse and the break structure, so that's my entry to the downside. 1 to 1.5 because my long hanging fruit was a bit close. So yeah, that's the first trade. It hit TP, and then later when I wasn't able to trade because it took so long to sweep out, and then look how many candles as well after the sweep it didn't give any entry. Then as you can see, so sorry by the way, this gap right here is not inversed, and also I did not have it on my chart. So this is a second chart that I did the reviews on. So this would be the second setup after we gave a break structure and an inverse. That's your setup. Stop above the candle that gave the inverse, or above the inverse, and 1 to 1.5 because low hanging fruit is right there. So after long hanging fruit, you said you're supposed to break even. So that's basically it. On this day, you would have made 3% on evil, and if you risk 0.5%, then you would make 1.5% on funded as well. But I did not take this one because I wasn't on the charts, and I made 0.9% on this one. So it's fine. We are coming back up. Now that I know this, I can allow myself to target low hanging fruits and everything. So we should improve way better than we did last time. Also, as you can see, I'm on my PC, but my microphone is good because we got a new microphone from my friend for my birthday, so that's really nice. He's supporting my grind. So yeah, yeah, I had 0.9% on this day in profit. So that's basically it. Let's get straight into how the week should have looked. So yeah, this is the week how it should have looked. So let's get straight into it. I just risked 1% in this batch of backtesting. So on Monday we had this loss, as you know. I took it correctly, and then the second trade would have actually been a win, or I mean, if my stop loss was in the correct place. And as you can see, we swept out the low, did a failure swing, gave a break structure right here, and that's your entry. Stop below the low, and then you would have made a take profit. Also, this is now the think markets because that's where I backtest. Doesn't matter, but in this case, for example, even if I set my stop loss where it was on NQM, then it would still be solid and I would not lose. But that depends on the broker. Anyway, the stop loss should have been below the low in this case. And I should have made 0.6% if I was risking 1%, or 0.25% or something like that, 0.30% if I was risking 0.5. The second one here was a sweep of that, then we get an inverse, take that. This is the one that I missed, and this one I would not change anything about it. So I would still have to end up 0.5% up, but I didn't because I didn't take the first one. That's on me. Then Wednesday we had also the same situation. The first trade lost, that was A+, and I took that one as well. Then the second one gave you the profit that you wanted, and yeah, I wouldn't change anything about this other than that I would risk the same on both trades. And then we have the Friday where I should have made 3% if I risked 1%, and if I risked 0.5%, then I should have made 1.5% on this one. Those two setups. This one I couldn't trade because I wasn't at home, which is too bad, but it is what it is. I had it okay for the week. I mean, it's a loss, but I still learned a lot, and I can actually rephrase everything and put it into perspective for the week that is coming ahead, because I learned some key things. For example, that I don't have to be under $780 on the day. I just have to be under $780 per trade, which is really nice. So that actually makes things a lot easier. So yeah, this is the how you should have ended if you traded correctly and your evil, for example, where you risk 1%. So yeah, this is really nice. I'm also developing some changes to the strategy, but I'm backtesting and everything, so we'll see how that goes. For now, next week I'll be trading this the same way I did this week, but I'm going to focus on setting my stop losses correctly and executing every single trade that that presents itself. So we'll see how that goes. And now I can also focus on aiming at low-hanging fruits, which in this week it did not, but it should in general allow me to get a little bit more RR than usual with my funded account. So I should progress really good. And also what I will do is I will increase my risk to, let's say, 0.75% or something like that, because, or like 0.7, 0.8, somewhere in that range, so that I can always ensure that I set my stop loss correctly. Because sometimes when I want to put my stop loss, the risk is 1% or something like that. So no, what I'm actually going to do is just set my stop loss at where I want it, and then if the risk is 0.8, let's say, then I just have to risk 0.8 on that trade, and then on the second trade I have to risk 0.8 as well. That is also presenting a new problem, where what if the first trade is 0.5, but then on the second one I cannot risk 0.5, I can risk only 0.8. Because of that, I might actually just stick to like 0.8% or like 0.9% or something like that for every single setup, and we'll see how that goes. Then I'll be able to set my stop loss correctly, but we'll see. Anyway, that is about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you learned something as well, as I did, and I'll definitely think this through to see how I'm going to risk next week. Thank you guys for watching.